Last night, Helen turned away from me in bed, not out of anger, not because she was upset, but because she thought I was already asleep. That's when it hit me. It wasn't just her body turning away. It was everything. The way we used to laugh in the dark. The way I used to pull her close without hesitation. The way I felt like a man. And now, I lie there, wide awake, pretending not to feel the silence between us. If you're a man over 60, maybe you know this feeling, that quiet fear. That maybe it's not just your body slowing down. Maybe it's your fire going out. I used to blame myself. I thought I was weak, broken. But I've come to learn something that changed everything. It's not your fault. And more importantly, it's not over. What if I told you there's a simple, natural way, just 2 steps, done twice a day, that can help restore the very hormone that once made you feel alive, clear, and connected? I'm Dr. James Whitmore, and after 30 years of helping men just like you, men who thought they were fading out of their own lives, I've seen what happens when the right tools, the right habits, and the right belief come together. In this video, you'll discover exactly how to trigger your body's natural testosterone engine safely, powerfully, and without a single pill. So stay with me, because if you've ever felt like your best days were behind you, what you're about to learn might just bring them back. You don't wake up one morning and suddenly feel old. It doesn't happen like that. It's slower, quieter, almost unnoticeable, until it isn't. Maybe you start sleeping lighter, waking up still tired. Maybe you get winded after walking up a single flight of stairs. Maybe you find yourself sitting down more, talking less, drifting away from conversations you used to lead. And maybe, just maybe, you've begun to avoid intimacy. Not because you don't want it, but because your body doesn't respond like it used to, and pretending hurts more than staying silent. These small shifts, they don't scream, they whisper. And for most men over 60, they whisper the same lie. This is just aging. You're supposed to feel this way. But let me tell you something I wish someone had told me, and the hundreds of men I've worked with, years ago. It's not supposed to be like this. Not this fast, not this deep, not this silent. What you're experiencing isn't weakness, it's biology. After the age of 50, your testosterone, your core male hormone, can drop by up to 1% every year. By 60, many men have lost more than half of what once made them feel vital, driven, and but no one talks about that. No one warned you. No one told you that modern life, filled with processed foods, plastics, stress, and screens, would quietly strip away the very hormones that made you feel alive. And so you blamed yourself. You thought it was your fault. You thought this decline was your destiny. But what if it isn't? What if there's a way, simple, natural, and proven, to begin rebuilding what was lost? Not to turn back time, but to step back into it. Because the next chapter doesn't have to be the slow fade. It can be the comeback. Frank never thought he'd feel invisible. At 66, the man who once served in the Navy, who stood tall, led with confidence, and never backed down from a challenge, now avoided mirrors. He didn't recognize the man looking back. His wife Carol said he'd grown quieter, more distant. And every time she reached for his hand at night, he pretended to be asleep. Michael, 72, had been married for over 40 years, but something in his marriage began to slip. Not arguments, not anger, just space. A growing emptiness between him and the woman he loved. Until one day she said words that cut deeper than anything before. I miss who you used to be." It wasn't cruel, it was honest. And it broke him. Then there was Luis, 68, a retired teacher. A kind man, funny, smart. But he stopped laughing, stopped showing up to family dinners, stopped calling his old friends. He felt like a shadow, just going through the motions of being alive. 3 men, 3 different lives, but one thing in common. They were all slowly disappearing from their own stories, and each of them believed it was just age. Until the day they found out it wasn't. It wasn't aging. It was a hormone, testosterone, that had quietly eroded beneath the weight of time and stress. And more importantly, they learned that it wasn't gone forever. Each of them started a new daily ritual. Nothing extreme, nothing expensive, just 2 simple actions, once in the morning, once at night, designed to give their body the raw material and signal it needed to wake up again. 3 weeks later, Frank stood taller. Michael said his wife reached for him again. Luis? He laughed at his grandson's joke for the first time in months. And this time, it wasn't forced. Because the truth is, what gets taken from you quietly can often be taken back, not with pills, but with knowledge, and the belief that you are not done yet. It's easy to think of testosterone as just a sex hormone, but if that's all you see, it's like calling fire just a source of heat. You miss its light, its power, its ability to shape everything around it. Testosterone is more than a number on a lab test. It's a language your body speaks, a signal that says, "I'm here, I'm strong, I'm alive." It fuels more than physical desire. It shapes how you move, how you think, how you carry yourself. When testosterone levels dip, men often don't just lose their drive, they lose their drive to be. I've seen men mistake the symptoms for aging. They slow down, they lose interest, they start to feel emotionally numb. But what's really fading is the internal engine that once kept their fire alive. Testosterone helps build and preserve lean muscle. It protects your bones, it sharpens your memory, it keeps you motivated, goal-oriented, connected. It's the reason a man wakes up and wants to do something, not just get through the day, but engage with it, with his partner, his passions, his own reflection. One of my patients, Martin, 69, soft-spoken, reserved, once told me, "I didn't realize how much of myself I had lost until I started to feel him coming back." Because when testosterone begins to balance again, men start laughing louder, standing taller, looking in the mirror and seeing someone they recognize. That spark, that sense of self, it's not gone. It's just waiting patiently beneath the surface. And as you'll see in the next part, you don't need medication or miracles to relight it. Just consistency and 2 powerful habits that tell your body it's time to come alive again. So how do you begin? Not with more pills, not with complicated gym routines or expensive hormone therapy, just 2 small rituals, done daily, 1 in the morning, 1 at night. The first begins with breakfast. But this isn't about cutting carbs or counting calories. It's about feeding your hormones the way you'd fuel a fire. Every morning, here's what I ask my patients to do. 2 gently cooked egg yolks. Not egg whites, yolks. Why? Because cholesterol isn't the enemy here. It's actually the raw material your body uses to make testosterone. Without it, your hormonal system is starved of fuel. 1 Brazil nut. A single Brazil nut contains enough selenium to support your testes, the glands that make testosterone. It's like giving your hormone engine the maintenance oil it needs. 1 tablespoon of raw pumpkin seeds. Packed with zinc, one of the most powerful testosterone defenders. Zinc stops your testosterone from being converted into estrogen, especially as you age. 3 ingredients, 3 minutes, and the signal to your body is clear: it's time to rebuild. Then, at night, comes your second action, one that feels almost too simple to be real. Apply a fingertip-sized amount of wild yam cream to the soft skin of your inner arms or chest. That's it. No injections, no patches, no prescriptions. Wild yam contains natural compounds that help gently nudge your endocrine system back into balance. It's not a replacement for testosterone, it's a reminder, a cue to your body that it still remembers how to regulate, how to thrive, how to come alive again. I've had men call me after just a few weeks and say things like, "I don't know what's happening, but I feel clearer, stronger, like myself again." Because this protocol doesn't fight your body, it supports it. It whispers to the part of you that's been quiet for too long and says, "Wake up." And once that part awakens, you'll begin to see what's possible. You might be doing everything right, eating clean, moving daily, sleeping better, and still, something feels off. Energy stalls, motivation dips, intimacy stays flat, and you wonder, why isn't it working? Here's the truth no one talks about. You might be unknowingly undoing all your progress, every single day. And the culprit? It's not in your medicine cabinet, it's in your kitchen. Plastics. The water bottle you keep refilling, the container you microwave leftovers in, the wrap you use to store tonight's dinner. They seem harmless, but they're not. Many plastics contain chemicals like BPA and phthalates, substances that mimic estrogen inside your body. And when your testosterone is already declining with age, these estrogen-like imposters make it even harder for your body to hold on to what little it has left. Imagine trying to rebuild a fire while someone quietly pours water on the wood. That's what these toxins do. They don't scream, they sabotage in silence. I've seen men stall for months until they made one simple shift, swapping plastic containers for glass or stainless steel, drinking from filtered water in BPA-free bottles. And just weeks later, their fog lifted, their energy climbed, their body stopped fighting itself. Because it's not just about what you add in, it's about what you remove. Every hormone-friendly habit is like planting a seed, but if you're poisoning the soil with hidden toxins, the roots can't grow. So if you're serious about reclaiming your fire, start here. Check your shelves. Your habits, your routines that seem harmless but might be holding you back. Because what you're trying to build deserves a clean foundation, and the next part will show you how all of this finally starts to work together. By now you've learned how to feed your body, how to avoid silent saboteurs. But there's one final piece, small, natural, and often overlooked, that can quietly amplify everything you've started to rebuild. It's called maca root. Grown high in the Andes Mountains of Peru, maca has been used for centuries by native communities, not just for strength or stamina, but for something deeper: balance. Unlike testosterone boosters that push your body aggressively, maca works more like a harmonizer. It supports your endocrine system, the network of glands that controls hormones. It doesn't force results, it restores rhythm. Maca helps calm the body's stress response, eases anxiety, and gently lifts energy, mood, and even libido. One of my patients, Harold, 71, was skeptical. He didn't believe a simple root powder could make a difference. But 2 weeks after adding just a teaspoon of maca to his oatmeal each morning, he came back and said, "Doc, I don't know what it is, but I'm laughing more. I feel present. And my wife, she noticed before I did." That's the power of the right kind of support. Not artificial, not forced, just aligned with how your body already wants to feel. Maca isn't a magic cure, but paired with your morning nutrition and evening ritual, it becomes a bridge connecting the physical to the emotional, and the man you are now to the man you remember being. And that brings us to what really matters most. Not just ingredients or routines, but something even more powerful than hormones. Let's take a moment, because this is where it all comes together. The egg yolks, the seeds, the wild yam, the maca. Each one matters, each one plays a role, but what truly brings it all to life is you. Your choice to show up, to believe that this isn't over, to believe that even after 60, 70, 80, there is still more waiting for you. More love, more energy, more you. Because here's what I've seen in the eyes of men who've walked this path. Frank now wakes up before his alarm, puts on his shoes, and walks hand in hand with his wife again. Michael no longer hears silence at the dinner table. He hears laughter. He feels her fingers brushing his. Luis, he started teaching part-time again because, as he said, when I got my fire back, I couldn't sit still anymore. What they regained wasn't just testosterone, it was dignity, connection, the quiet thrill of recognizing the man in the mirror again. So let me say this directly to you. You are still a man. You are not broken. You are not finished. You are not invisible. You're a man who's carried weight, who's sacrificed, who's been there for others, quietly, consistently. Now it's time to be there for yourself. This journey is not about vanity. It's about vitality, about reclaiming something no one else can give you, and no one else can take away. Because when your body is fueled, when your hormones begin to hum again, something beautiful happens. Your spirit rises, your confidence returns, and the people you love feel it too. So here's your moment. Not just to feel better, but to feel alive again. You don't need to overhaul your life. You don't need to wait until someday. You've already begun, with every choice, every step, every act of self-respect. And if this message speaks to you, share it. Because maybe there's a man out there right now, sitting in silence, who needs to hear that he's not alone. This isn't the end of your story. It's the start of your next chapter. And the best part? You get to write it. Frank was retreating into silence. Michael was drifting from the woman he loved. Luise was fading behind a quiet smile. But after just a few weeks of small, daily shifts, they came back to life. Frank now walks with purpose. Michael feels seen and desired again. Luise laughs loud and often, just like he used to. They didn't turn back time, they turned toward themselves. And in doing so, they reminded us all, it's never too late to feel like you again. You don't need permission, you just need to begin.